Amidst the smoking ruins of a devastated Earth city, Lieutenant Kai Zhang stands over a twisted piece of alien machinery, its surfaces still humming with otherworldly energy. Around him, his team of ragtag fighters sifts through the debris, their faces illuminated by the eerie glow of the alien technology. Kai picks up a sleek metallic device, examines it, and tosses it to his second-in-command, who catches it with a grunt. "Ever used one of these?" Kai asks, his voice echoing amid the silent wreckage. "Only in nightmares," comes the reply, imbued with a mix of dread and awe. With a cocky grin, Kai turns back to the rubble. "Well, dreams do come true. Let's figure this out before they come back to finish the job." The smoke had barely cleared from the previous night's battle when Lieutenant Kai Zhang stood surveying the ruins of what had once been an alien command center. Around him, the remnants of the city whispered tales of a fierce fight where humanity had, against all odds, turned the tables. Now, amidst the twisted metal and shattered alien technology, lay the opportunity for a new kind of warfare. "Check this out, boss," called Sergeant Lena Park, her voice a mix of exhaustion and exhilaration as she lifted a half-crushed alien device from the debris. It was sleek, ominous, and entirely unfamiliar. Kai walked over, his boots crunching on debris. Taking the device, he turned it in his hands, feeling its weight. "Ever seen anything like this in your engineering days?" Lena asked, wiping soot from her brow. "Not in the slightest," Kai replied, his mind racing with possibilities. Before the war, he had been a pioneer in reverse engineering, adept at dismantling anything he could get his hands on. Alien technology, however, was an entirely different challenge. "Let's gather up everything that isn't bolted down. Anything could be the key to their next wave," Kai instructed, his gaze sweeping the scattered tech. The resistance fighters moved quickly, collecting alien weaponry and gadgets. Their movements were methodical yet swift, driven by the knowledge that the invaders were likely regrouping. As they worked, Kai pulled aside a small, hand-held gadget with a screen that still flickered faintly. "Jasper, see if you can make sense of this," he said, handing it to the team's communications expert. Jasper, a wiry man with a knack for languages, both human and digital, nodded and began tapping at the device. Moments later, an eerie glow emanated from the gadget, projecting a holographic display of star charts and tactical data. "Looks like we've got a map, maybe even battle plans," Jasper announced, his voice tinged with disbelief. Kai peered over his shoulder, a slow smile spreading across his face. "Great, a map to possibly nowhere we know, and plans for a war they thought they'd already won," he joked, but his eyes sparkled with the thrill of the challenge. "Let's decode what we can and prep for round 2. This time, it's our turn to surprise them." As the team set up a makeshift lab with the salvaged alien equipment, the sense of victory was palpable, not just over the invaders, but over the fear and uncertainty that had once gripped them. In the broken shadows of their world, they were forging a new path, one piece of mysterious technology at a time. In the cavernous remnants of the alien command center, now transformed into a resistance lab, Lieutenant Kai Zhang oversaw a hive of activity. His team, a diverse assembly of engineers, scientists, and former civilians turned soldiers, diligently dissected and tested various pieces of alien technology. The atmosphere was electric, buzzing with a mix of desperation and determination. "Any luck with that energy blaster?" Kai called out to Lena, who was engrossed with a particularly menacing-looking weapon. She looked up, frustration evident in her furrowed brow. "It's like trying to read a book with pages missing. I understand parts of how it works, but there's a locking mechanism I can't crack," she replied, her tools clinking as she set them down. Kai nodded, his mind racing for solutions. "Keep at it. There might be a universal key or sequence. Try patterns from other devices we've managed to crack." Meanwhile, in a quieter corner of the lab, Jasper was deeply engrossed, headphones on, his eyes glued to the screen of the alien communication device they had salvaged. The screen flickered with strange symbols that occasionally coalesced into something semi-coherent. Got something? Jasper suddenly exclaimed, pulling off his headphones. The lab fell silent, all eyes turning to him. It's not much, but I've broken through the language encryption on some of their logs. It seems to be a mix of tactical commands and, I think, personal notes? Personal notes? Kai echoed, his interest piqued. This rare glimpse into the alien psyche could prove invaluable. See if you can dig out more on their strategies or any mention of their high command's plans. As Kai and Jasper huddled over the communications device, Lena persisted with the alien weaponry. Each piece of technology was a puzzle, and the more they uncovered, the more they realized just how advanced and unfamiliar their enemy was. Just then, Dr. Emily Rowe, the group's xenobiologist, approached Kai with a tablet displaying a complex diagram. "Lieutenant, I think I've figured out why we're having trouble with their tech. Their technology interfaces with their biology. See here?" She pointed at an intricate network of connections. "It's bio-locked. We need to mimic their biosignatures to access some of these functions." Kai's eyes widened with realization. "Incredible work, Emily. Jasper, Lena, hear that? We might need to spoof alien biosignatures. That could be the key to unlocking everything else." Reinvigorated with purpose, the team set to work integrating this new information. They crafted makeshift biosignal emulators using salvaged alien materials combined with human ingenuity. The lab hummed with energy as each small breakthrough brought them closer to understanding and utilizing the alien technology. As the day turned into night, Kai stepped back, observing his team at work. They were exhausted, their faces smeared with grime and eyes red from fatigue, but there was a spark in their gaze that hadn't been there before, a spark of hope. "Remember, everyone, what we're doing here could change the course of this war. Keep pushing," Kai encouraged, his voice firm yet inspiring. Suddenly, a cheer erupted from Lena's station. She had finally cracked the energy blaster. Hoisting it aloft, she beamed. "Who wants to see if this thing can make a real bang?" Kai laughed, the sound blending with the murmurs of his dedicated team. Amidst the ruins of a shattered city and the shadows of an uncertain future, they were not merely surviving, they were adapting, learning, and preparing to strike back. The alien invaders had brought their technology to Earth, but they hadn't anticipated human resolve or cunning, and that was their gravest mistake. Under the dim glow of emergency lights, Lieutenant Kai Zhang paced the floor of the makeshift operations room, the air thick with anticipation and the low hum of alien technology. News had just arrived. The second wave of invaders was en route, faster than anticipated. Time, always a cruel master, was now their fiercest enemy. "We've got less than 48 hours, Kai announced, his voice cutting through the murmur of anxious strategists and technicians. His team looked up from their stations, the weight of every second hanging over them like a blade. Lena, now somewhat proficient with the alien energy blaster, added, "We've managed to adapt some of their weaponry for our use, but without fully understanding the tech, we're shooting in the dark, literally." Kai nodded grimly, then turned to Jasper, who had been tirelessly working on decrypting more of the alien communications. "Anything new that can tell us what we're up against?" Jasper rubbed his tired eyes, the strain of constant decryption taking its toll. "There's mention of a larger battalion, possibly twice the size of the first wave. And they're bringing something big. Couldn't translate it all, but it sounds like a heavy weapon of some kind." The room fell silent, the implications clear. They were outgunned and possibly outmanned. Kai's mind raced. Survival was no longer a matter of resilience alone. It needed a miracle, or a stroke of genius. "All right, we play with what we've got," Kai decided. "Emily, Jasper, I need you two to figure out any possible weaknesses in their tech. Anything at all that looks like it could give us an edge." As Emily and Jasper dived back into their work, Kai pulled Lena aside. "How quickly can you teach everyone to use these adapted weapons?" She glanced towards the small arsenal of modified alien firearms. I'll get them up to speed by morning. They won't be experts, but they'll manage. Good, Kai said, clapping her on the shoulder. Let's get everyone prepped. The next hours were a blur of activity. Kai oversaw a frantic training session, with soldiers and volunteers alike learning to handle the strange, powerful weapons they hoped would save their world. Meanwhile, Emily made a breakthrough, a vulnerability in the alien armor system that responded adversely to a specific frequency. "Kai, this could be it!" Emily exclaimed, her voice a beacon in the darkness. She explained that the alien's protective gear had a resonant frequency that, if disrupted, could temporarily impair its effectiveness. Armed with this new knowledge, Kai adjusted their strategy. He organized teams, assigning them to focus on exploiting this weakness during the upcoming assault. "Hit them hard and hit them where it hurts," he instructed, his determination infectious. The night was long and fraught with tension. Kai walked among his troops, offering words of encouragement, his presence a steady calm in the storm of nerves and fear. As dawn approached, casting a pale light over their fortified position, Kai addressed his makeshift army. "We are outnumbered, and we are outgunned, but we are not outsmarted," he declared, his voice resonant and clear. "We have one shot at this, one chance to defend our home. We know what we're up against, and thanks to some brilliant minds and stubborn hearts, we've got a fighting chance. So let's show them what it means to fight for Earth. Let's show them what it means to fight as humans." Cheers erupted, filling the air with a fierce, defiant energy. Kai looked out over the faces before him, faces marked by fear, but also by hope and resolve. As the first signs of the enemy fleet appeared on the horizon, Kai tightened his grip on the alien weapon he now wielded. They were ready as they could ever be. The battle for Earth's future was about to begin, and Kai Zhang was at the heart of it, leading not just a team, but the very spirit of human resilience. The early morning air was electric with tense anticipation as the first silhouettes of the alien fleet pierced the horizon. Lieutenant Kai Zhang stood at the forefront of his assembled forces, his eyes scanning the skies, a modified alien rifle slung across his shoulder. "Positions, everyone!" Kai's voice boomed across the field, commanding and clear. His troops, a blend of seasoned soldiers and eager volunteers, hustled into their assigned spots, clutching their alien weaponry with determined grips. Behind barricades and makeshift defenses, the resistance waited for the onslaught. In the command tent, Lena relayed real-time updates, her voice steady despite the escalating tension. "First wave approaching from the northwest. Estimated time of contact, 3 minutes. Kai nodded, then turned to address his second in command. "Mara, ensure the eastern flank is ready. They might try to circle around." Mara, a tactician who had swiftly adapted to the chaos of guerrilla warfare, responded without missing a beat. "Already on it, Kai. They won't get past us." As the enemy drew closer, the eerie hum of their advanced propulsion systems filled the air, a sound now painfully familiar to the defenders of Earth. Kai checked his weapon one last time, his mind racing through the plan they had scrambled to put together. The first of the alien crafts descended, unleashing a barrage of energy pulses toward the human positions. Explosions rocked the ground, sending clouds of dust and debris into the air. But the humans were not idle. Return fire from the resistance lit up the morning sky, the alien weapons in their hands speaking a language of defiance. "Focus on the frequency we discovered," Kai shouted over the commotion, referencing the resonant weakness Emily had identified. Along the line, soldiers adjusted their weapons, targeting the alien armors with precision strikes that exploited the newfound vulnerability. The battlefield was a maelstrom of noise, light, and fury. Yet amidst this chaos, the humans demonstrated an uncanny ability to adapt. Small units maneuvered fluidly, covering each other, creating crossfires that stalled the alien advance. In a crucial moment, when an alien squadron attempted to flank the main resistance line, Kai and a small team executed a daring countermaneuver. Sprinting into a flanking position, they unleashed a volley of targeted fire that disrupted the enemy's formation, causing disarray. "Push them back! Now!" Kai's order crackled through the radios of every fighter. Energized by their success, the resistance pushed forward, their alien weapons humming with each discharge, slowly turning the tide. As the battle waged, Kai found himself in the thick of the fight, dodging blasts and returning fire. Suddenly, a familiar figure emerged on the battlefield, Commander HFY, his presence unmistakable even amidst the chaos. HFY, recognizing the human leading the resistance, directed his guards toward Kai, their weapons ready. But Kai was quicker, his understanding of the alien weapon complete. With a precise shot, he disabled HFY's personal shield, a feat that drew a gasp from both human and alien fighters alike. "Yield, Commander! This ends now!" Kai shouted, advancing toward the stunned alien leader. His voice carried across the immediate silence that followed, a silence born from shock and awe. HFY, defeated and disarmed, raised his hands, his expression one of reluctant respect. "You're kind. You adapt. You endure." "I see that now," he conceded, his voice broadcasting over the field. The battle, though fierce, began to wind down as the remaining alien forces witnessed their commander's capitulation. What had started as a desperate stand turned into a resounding victory for Earth's defenders. As the dust settled, Kai stood amidst his weary but victorious fighters, their spirits lifted by a win that had seemed impossible. Today, we proved what it means to be human. We fight, we adapt, and we overcome. Let this victory remind us all: never count us out. The cheers that followed echoed not just across the battlefield, but across the world. A world that was learning to fight back, one battle at a time. As the last of the alien crafts retreated into the sky, the battlefield fell eerily silent, save for the soft moans of the injured and the crackle of smoldering debris. Lieutenant Kai Zhang stood amidst the carnage, his gaze sweeping over the scattered remnants of what had been a fierce confrontation. The air was tinged with the acrid scent of victory, burnt metal, and alien fuel. "Medics, tend to the wounded. Engineers, secure any salvageable tech," Kai ordered, his voice hoarse but resolute. His team, though visibly exhausted, responded with efficiency, spurred on by their improbable triumph. As Kai assisted a young volunteer to her feet, Mara approached, her expression a mix of relief and concern. "We did it, Kai. But at what cost?" Kai looked around, his eyes momentarily clouding with sorrow for the fallen. "Every victory has its price. We'll honor them by continuing the fight, ensuring this victory is just the beginning." The cleanup operation was in full swing, with human fighters and engineers working side by side to recover alien technology that could fortify Earth's defenses against future threats. As they worked, Kai and his team gathered in the makeshift command center, a map of the world sprawled out before them. "We've learned a lot," Kai began, pointing to the map where new markers indicated strategic positions for their next defenses. "The technology we've captured today changes the playing field. We adapt, we upgrade, and we prepare. Next time, we'll be ready." Jasper chimed in, holding up a small, intricate device they had managed to secure during the battle. "And it's not just weapons. This looks like some sort of communication enhancer. It could extend our reach, connect resistant cells worldwide." The room buzzed with a renewed sense of purpose as they discussed the integration of alien tech into their daily operations. Plans were drawn, roles were assigned, and every piece of recovered tech was cataloged for further research. As the day turned into evening, Kai stepped outside, taking a moment to breathe in the cool air. The setting sun painted the sky in hues of orange and purple, a beautiful backdrop to a battered but unbowed Earth. His communications officer approached him with a handheld device. "Sir, you need to see this," she said, handing him the device. Kai watched as messages of solidarity and congratulations poured in from around the globe. Resistance leaders, government officials, and civilians, They all shared a message of unity and strength. The world was watching, and the world was with them. He handed back the device, a small smile playing on his lips. "Spread the word," he said. "Tell them we're just getting started. Tell them we're building a new Earth together." That night, as Kai addressed his team and the gathered crowd of fighters and survivors, his words resonated not just through the makeshift camp but across continents. "Today, we fought not just to survive, but to thrive. We stood together as humans, and we turned the tide. This victory is not the end. It is the promise of a new dawn, a world where we are not defined by our fears, but by our hopes." Cheers erupted, echoing across the field and into the night sky, a defiant declaration that humanity would not merely endure, it would prevail. As Kai looked out over the faces filled with determination and hope, he knew this was more than just a battle won. It was the beginning of a legacy, a testament to human resilience and ingenuity that would echo through history, long after the scars of war had faded.